Good morning, students. Last class we discussed about simple vapor compression refrigeration system. First, just I will brief the things. First, we cross verify the reversed Carnot cycle is practically feasible for production of refrigeration effect or transfer of heat from lower temperature to higher temperature. Practically, it is not feasible. Then the modified Carnot cycle, vapor compression refrigeration cycle. The ideal vapor compression refrigeration cycle is discussed. There, what are the modifications? Compression of the heat absorbed vapor, saturated vapor, we are compressing saturated vapor to evaporator saturated vapor to condenser superheated vapor. So in condenser at constant pressure heat rejection is taking place. In Carnot cycle constant temperature heat rejection is taking place. So here constant pressure heat rejection, first sensible heat rejection, next latent heat rejection. This saturation liquid is entering into the evaporator by reduction of pressure. Why? Because we want to get cooling effect. For the production of cooling effect by using the throttle valve, isoenthalpy process, expansion valve, throttle valve or capillary tube we are using to drop the pressure without changing the enthalpy. What is main purpose? To obtain the desired effects. The COP of the vapor compression refrigeration system for a refrigeration facility or heat pump. For any work, your desired effect is heating means it's called heat pump. Your desired effect is cooling means it's called refrigerant. So for both case, the temperature difference, the delta T, the condenser temperature to evaporator temperature, the temperature difference is low, then COP is high. If temperature difference is high, COP is low. For enhancing COP, for air conditioning system, they are reducing condenser condensation temperature. So, because that reduction of the condensation temperature, the cost of the refrigeration facility, air conditioning facility, we are getting low cost. But in summer condition, it is not giving cooling effect. Why? Because heat rejection in condenser is not takes place. If the gas is not rejected heat, then how we again same working fluid or refrigerant absorb the heat. Once it is reject the heat, then it has scope to absorb the heat. That's why if less temperature difference, we are decreasing the temperature difference. In summer, performance of the air conditioning system is reducing drastically. So our condenser temperature always higher than the ambient temperature in summer. Why? Because air conditioning major preference we are giving summer. So in summer the condenser temperatures in India, not entire world temperatures are different. I am not giving company names, that is not good. So come to the actual compression refrigeration cycle. Coming to the actual vapor compression refrigeration cycle, process we are not changing, constant pressure heat rejection condenser only. Adiabatic or isentropic compressor in the compressor only. Next, in evaporator also constant pressure heat absorption. But what we are doing for practicality case, isoentropic compression practically is possible, is not at all possible. Why? Because some heat loss will occur. You touch when compressor is running, you touch the compressor, you can feel some heat, it is dissipating some heat, it is rejecting some heat. So in practical case, some heat rejection will take place. So no doubt at all, heat rejection is a common criteria. So in the compressor, heat rejection is taking place means the requirement of compression work input is increasing. In a practical case, the requirement of compression work input is increasing. So the work input of compression is increasing means where it is losing, we are rejecting that work input and heat absorbed at evaporator, we are rejecting at condenser. So size of condenser is increasing. The condenser load is increasing. Why? Because work input we are increasing to raise the refrigerant pressure from evaporator to condenser. Some work input I am increasing. Total work input we are rejecting at a condenser only. So condenser load actual case is increasing. Second, here we are assuming saturation liquid is moving to the expansion wall. If saturation liquid is moving expansion wall, where somewhere here wet vapor is entering into the evaporator. Instead of that, subcooled liquid is entering into the throttle valve, means here saturation liquid can enter into evaporator. In this condition also we are not shown total saturation. Somewhat it is increasing. The wet region content we are increasing. If dryness fraction 0, it is good to enter into the evaporator. Means more latent heat. You see, at low pressures, high latent heat of vaporization is required. Means less mass will absorb more energy. The capacity of the refrigeration capacity we can increase by condensation of the refrigerant not to saturation liquid to the subcooled liquid in condenser. So in actual condition, superheated gas is entering due to the work input, more work input, and that superheated gas loss is increased. Then one more heat rejection is there, that is subcooled heat rejection. Both heat rejections are increased in the condenser, so condenser capacity is increased, but ultimately we are getting the more cooling effect in the evaporator. Why? Because the placement of the evaporator, suppose air conditioning system, all are knows, the split AC, suppose we are dealing with split AC, the evaporator coil in the room, the condenser coil at top side terrace. If just cool to the condenser temperature, it has to travel from the distance to the evaporator coil. Okay. Length of travel is increasing. Suppose throttle valve we placed in top side itself, then the refrigerant is absorbing heat from the throttle valve to the evaporator coil where the distance of travel. That's why especially in apartments, if the compressor unit is placed at terrace, their electrical bill will increase drastically because the desired temperatures will not achieve. In the journey of travel of the refrigerant from the evaporator coil to the compressor, the throttle valve to the evaporator coil, absorbing the ambient heat is a loss of energy. So that's why as possible as subcooled region we are moving, then that subcooled refrigerant is entering into the expansion wall as isoenthalpy process and reach to the desired temperatures, pressures, reach to evaporator pressure. That wet liquid is entering into the evaporator, absorbing the heat and convert as a saturated vapor. That is the condition. Okay, it is converted saturated vapor in evaporator coil. But from the evaporator coil to compressor, it is not side by side. In actual condition, we are telling. It has to travel some distance. Ambient temperature is higher than refrigerator temperature. Automatically, it is further absorption of the heat will take place. That's why the outlet of the evaporator, it may be saturation liquid, but inlet of the compressor is not saturated liquid. It is a superheated liquid at low pressure. It is a real case, actual vapor compression system. So, compared to ideal vapor compression, actual vapor compression system, majorly two differences there. One is we are assuming ideal condition, saturation liquid is saturation vapor, low pressure saturation vapor is entering into the compressor. In practical case, evaporator and compressor not side by side, it has some distance. For traveling distance, it will absorb the heat from the ambient. So, instead of saturated, it will reach to superheated condition. And next, the theoretically in ideal cycle we are assuming it is an adiabatic process, but practically isoentropic not possible, means some heat loss to the environment will take place while in compression. So more work input we are giving, so work input is increasing. Due to this excess heat absorption from the ambient, not in radiator, not in diffuser, from the ambient, and excess work input, this is the excess work input in the compressor, both will reject at the condenser only. So size of condenser coil is increasing in actual case. Theoretically, at ideal vapor compression system, we kept to 3 kilowatt system is sufficient for removal of heat in the condenser means. Better the actual condition, it may require 3.5 factor of safety. Any engineering design is a common word, we are giving factor of safety. Ideally, we are calculating the factor of safety, we are taking 1.2, 1.8, 1 and something. Some value we are giving. What is that means? Means that factor of safety. In real case, more loads will come into the picture. At that condition also, the condenser has to perform, has to absorb the heat, sorry, not absorb, has to reject the heat for effective cooling in the defined area, targeted area. Okay, this is the real actual vapor compression refrigeration cycle. You see some frizz here, defrizzer is there. This is the capillary tube, this is the condenser, this is the compressor. So defrizzer, evaporator outlet traveling this much of distance to reach the compressor. Automatically more heat absorption will take place. End of the evaporator coil, yes, no doubt at all, it is saturation liquid only. But reaching inlet to the compressor, some more heat is absorbed. That is only we explained. So now move to the second system. Vapor absorption refrigeration system. First one we deal vapor compression refrigeration system. The second one is vapor absorption refrigeration system. Suppose vapor compression system or vapor absorption system. I will show one diagram, then it is easy to explain. So any system, it may be vapor absorption or vapor compression system, might target transfer the heat, not absorb, transfer the heat from low temperature to high temperature. That is only my target. As a layman understanding, my target for refrigeration and air conditioning, whatever the system, forget about system. My target, transfer the heat from low temperature to high temperature. For that, low temperature means low pressure, we want to maintain refrigerant. More latent heat of vaporization is there at low temperature, low pressure. So more heat it is absorbing at low pressure, latent heat. So with less mass we can absorb more heat. But whatever the heat I absorb, I want to reject the heat. If I am not rejecting the heat, same refrigerant I can't use in the cycle. The cycle must be open cycle like internal combustion engines, gas turbines, a standard cycles indirectly. As all are open cycles. Every time we are giving fresh charge. But as a closed cycles, the vapor cycles are closed cycles, not open cycles. All vapor cycles are closed cycle, not open cycle. So same refrigerant I want to use for the same operation, cyclic operation. Then what I want to do, I want to reject the heat. Where I can reject the heat? The ambient, no other option. The dump, where is the thermal dump is there? Means in universe, means ambient only the thermal dump. What is the ambient temperature? 40, summer 40, 45, winter 20. So more than that ambient temperature, you want to reach. What I want to do? Rise the pressure of the refrigerant. Rising the pressure of the refrigerant by the electrical energy supply, then it is called vapor compression refrigeration system. Rising the pressure of refrigerant by using electrical energy, then it is called vapor compression refrigeration system. By using heat energy, then it is called vapor absorption. Vapor absorption or vapor compression might target to rise the pressure of refrigerant. What is my purpose? To reject the heat. At high pressure, latent heat of rejection is low. Sensible heat rejection is easy. Latent heat rejection is time consuming. So at high pressure we are rising means the sensible heat rejection also is reducing. You can see the saturation inside the saturation curve. Any one refrigerant R12 we selected, suppose. Sensible heat rejection is reducing and Only, sorry, latent heat rejection is reducing, only sensible heat is in the picture. So sensible heat rejection we are doing. This is the real vapor compression or vapor absorption. So any system. Here I am using compressor, then it is called vapor compression system. Here I am using heat input, then it is called vapor absorption system. Vapor compression system we are using for heating and cooling, because my source is electrical energy. But coming to the vapor absorption system, only we are using for cooling. Heating, what is the next? Heat already available. Use directly that heat wherever it is required. Special heating is not required. So vapor absorption system, specially we are using in industries, high capacity, 100 ton system, 200 ton system, 300 ton system, like that. For achieving negative temperatures, means refrigeration facility, we are using ammonia water combination. Here we want absorbent and refrigerant, both required. By heating method means some technique we are changing, I will explain first. So here we required refrigerant and absorbent, both. Name itself absorption refrigeration system. Vapor absorption refrigeration system. So we required absorbent as well as refrigerant, both required, no doubt at all. For the requirement of absorbent and refrigerant, I want to get negative temperatures, means refrigeration facility, ammonia water we are using. There water is the absorbent, ammonia is the refrigerant. One more system is there for production of refrigeration facility, maybe 6 degrees, 7 degrees, more than 0 degrees. I am producing the cooling effect. That is the air conditioning system only, it is useful, large capacity. For that application, lithium bromide water we are using. Their water is the refrigerant. That's why I am telling water is the refrigerant. More than 0 only we can maintain for production of the refrigeration facility, air conditioning facility. Less than 0 means water will not circulate. Ice formation will start. Water will convert as a solid. Liquid will convert as a solid. Some brine solutions we are using, that is different, but general case I am telling. So both system construction is same. So I will select ammonia water system. I will explain how the system is going. Then you will get the clear idea. This condenser, expansion valve, evaporator. These three is same in vapor compression or vapor absorption. Here earlier condition compressor is there. Here there is no compressor now. Absorption, generator and pump. Pump is there. To raise the pressure of one place to another place, pump required. Pump or compressor required, no doubt at all. But already pump means it is transferring the raising the pressure of liquid. The specific value is very low. The energy requirement pump is negligible compared to compressor. So here first we are maintaining one absorber. Absorber contains nitrogen, hydrogen. That's not nitrogen, ammonia and water. Ammonia and water. While ammonia absorbed heat, we all know ammonia in vapor compression system also, ammonia is the best refrigerant in inorganic region, R717. And now also in industry we are using that one. That ammonia absorbs the heat, that vapor centering into the absorber. So while absorber volume is high, water volume high, ammonia volume is low, automatically it will reject the heat and it will mix with the water. Ammonia easily mix with the water. Then ammonia water slurry is prepared. That ammonia water slurry, you see cooling effect, because it is rejecting heat. So heat rejection in two places are taking place. One is absorber, second one is condenser. Total heat rejection we want to calculate, heat rejection at absorber and heat rejection at condenser also. So this absorber and condenser temperatures are same. Absorber condenser temperatures are same. Then this ammonia water slurry, by the using pump we are supplying to the generator. That's all. So this absorber, what is that work? This vapor it is absorbing and forming ammonia water slurry, and some heat is rejected to the cooling system. This temperature is almost equal to condenser temperatures we are reaching. Next, by using pump we are raising the pressure of the slurry from evaporator to the generator. In the generator, by using solar energy or by using industrial waste, we are supplying the heat. By absorption of the heat, ammonia and water separation is taking place. By absorption of the heat, ammonia and water separation is taking place. Why? Because ammonia at low temperatures evaporation will start, but water required 100 degrees. So ammonia is separating. That separated ammonia vapors is going through the rectifier. If any water vapor in the ammonia, we are separating in the filtering in the rectifier. Whatever the water vapor, again it is coming to the generator. Remaining ammonia vapors only entering into the condenser. Whatever the heat absorbed evaporator, some heat is rejected at absorber. Whatever heat is absorbed in evaporator, some heat is rejected absorber. Again, heat is absorbed in generator. This heat, the left out heat in the absorber, total will reject at condenser. So condenser heat rejection theoretically evaporator heat and generator heat. Both heat it is rejecting at the condenser. After rejecting the heat, the saturation liquid is entering into the evaporator coil. Expansion valve, and reduction of the pressure without changing enthalpy, isoenthalpy process will take place. That low temperature, the saturation or wet liquid is entering into the evaporator, absorbing the heat, and again what ammonia vapor is prepared, that ammonia vapor is absorbed by the absorber and rejecting heat, and this ammonia water slurry again to generator. Then after evaporation of ammonia, remaining lean mixture of ammonia water, some ammonia may be available, that lean mixture again entering into the absorber. The cyclic operation, pump work, this is one only, just rotating the cyclic operation. So here one cycle is there, it is we will call heat engine. It is ambient temperature, it is the generator temperature. We are assuming it is a heat engine, and we are assuming this is a refrigeration. So COP of the system, absorber refrigeration system, generally desired effect by uh, heat input, the required input, that is generator input and work input. Or absorption system, if we are assuming an ideal case, for heat engine 1 minus T naught by Ts, T naught is the temperatures of the ambient, the absorber temperature and condenser temperature, 1 minus T naught by Ts, and this is the desired temperature, cooling load temperature, minus condenser temperature minus, this is the refrigeration system, this is heat engine we are assuming. This is the COP of refrigeration, vapor absorption refrigeration system. And the vapor compression refrigeration system already explained, we are using. One cascaded refrigeration system we are using. Cascaded refrigeration means I want to get minus temperature. Suppose now vaccination is there, Pfizer vaccine, we want to store minus 70 degrees centigrade. With a single unit we can't produce minus 70. In cascaded system, first system will produce minus 20. Then that system evaporator will work as a lowering system, condenser. So here condenser temperature is minus 20, then evaporator temperature we can achieve minus 70. So very low temperatures we want to achieve, then we are using cascaded refrigeration system. This is a single effect absorption system, what I explained. This is a double effect. This is triple effect. At present, high capacity refrigeration vapor absorption facility like 200 tons, 300 ton refrigeration capacity refrigerators, vapor absorption refrigerators are three stages, three effects, are combination of vapor absorption and compression. By using vapor absorption system, we will get minus 10, minus 5. Then it is connected to the vapor compression system, we can achieve minus 30, minus 40. If waste heat is available, first by using waste heat we are producing minus 10, minus 20. Then further reduction of temperature difference for ice cream making industry, they required minus 30. So minus 30 degrees, it's a single unit we can't produce. This low temperature, by using that low temperature of evaporator, one more vapor compression system we are running and producing the desired effects. And one system we developed and installed at Anand Agriculture University. It is a the ICMR sponsored project, ICR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. This is a simple lithium bromide water absorption system. The generator temperature just 80 degrees and absorbed temperatures 36, absorber and condenser temperature. Cooling water temperature, the condenser cooling water temperature 32. Evaporator effect 9 to 6 degrees, 6 to 9 degrees only. This is the actual vapor absorption refrigeration system, lithium bromide water. Earlier I shown every component is separate, but not every component is separate. Suppose here evaporator is there. We got evaporator, then this ammonia is absorbed, not ammonia, hydrogen, water is absorbed heat. That water vapor absorbed by the absorber. This slurry by pump we are sending to the generator. Here in the generator we are supplying heat. Then water vapor is evaporated. That vapors are going to the condenser. The condensation is taking place. The condenser saturation liquid through the throttle wall it is entering into the evaporator. You see everything is there. So here heat exchangers are there. Shell and tube heat exchangers we are using. Evaporator coil, generator coil, heat supply, evaporator coil, chill water, condenser coil. Again this cooling tower is connected to the condenser coil and absorber coil. But here negative pressures we want to maintain lithium bromide water. Every day we want to run the vacuum pump first. At least half an hour we are rotating the vacuum pump. This is called vacuum pump, creation of the vacuum. Then after creation of the vacuum only our cycle will initiate. This is the time of fabrication. We visited the plant at the time the show. Where we installed is this is National Fund, Indian Council of Agriculture. Now also it is running at Anand Agriculture University. This is the unit, the top unit. This is the cooling tower. Okay. With this, I am ending the session. Next class we will meet in air conditioning system.